Just moments ago, President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, "I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase," it's important wording, "first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line." Words are important. "As the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers." So I am cynical because of how many times we have found ourselves in this exact same scenario. People seem a little more optimistic this time around. I don't really understand why, but maybe I'm just too cynical to see it. Let me give you a few more details, Cenk, and then, because you seem more optimistic about this than I am, and I'm curious what you think. So Trump said Wednesday afternoon, meaning today, that he may travel to the Middle East by the end of the week as negotiations are going along very well. Now, Hamas said that lists of prisoners to be exchanged were presented, and mediators are exerting great efforts to remove any obstacles ahead of steps to implement a ceasefire, and there is a spirit of optimism among all parties. So that's new. I haven't heard that in previous ceasefire negotiations. Now, according to Newsweek, negotiators were continuing focusing on establishing practical steps for a halt to the fighting and the logistics of a prisoner exchange. Now, remember last week, I believe it was on Friday, Trump ordered Israel and the IDF to stop bombing Gaza. They have since continued bombing Gaza. More than 100 Palestinians were killed over the weekend. So Israel, this dynamic is just interesting because Israel doesn't really seem to care what Trump has to say. But Trump seems to have a lot of faith that they are participating in these negotiations in good faith. Hamas was seeking guarantees that Israel will not resume military operations after the release of all the hostages. And the conflict between Israel and Hamas has caused widespread devastation in Gaza, as we all know.
Okay, so here's how I think it's gonna go. Number one, looks like they are gonna get to some sort of deal. Some of the hostages will be released. Hopefully, all the hostages will be released. And after the hostages are released, the deal will totally fall apart, and the people who will violate it will be Israel. And why am I predicting that? Because
that's what always happens.
That's what's happened literally every single time in the last 2 years. So, and then, and they will have an excuse, and they have a million of them. That's why Netanyahu initially tried to stop this peace deal, right? But then he realized that Trump was a runaway freight train, and that if he got in front of him, it was going to be a problem, right? In fact, there was at one point, for the first time, maybe in history, cutting funding came up. Okay, so then he was like, "Oh yeah," I said, "Yes, of course, send the billions of dollars." Okay, so and then he realized, "Oh, what am I talking about? I'm using the hostages as an excuse. That's why I never wanted them back. That's why I tried to kill the peace negotiators. But I don't really need them as an excuse. I own American media and the politicians anyway, and I'll just come up with a new excuse. Oh, Hamas didn't surrender enough. Oh, make up numbers. 10,000 of them turned themselves in, which just seems absurd. But okay, let's say they did that. But we know there's 20,000. Okay, 20,000 turned themselves. No, now we know it's 40,000. Okay, they turned in 5,000 guns. No, we know it's 10,000 guns. It's never going to be enough, conveniently. So then they're going to go back to bombing Gaza, and they're going to go back to trying to conquer more land. Now, so why be hopeful? Well, first of all, I want the hostages back, and I don't want Hamas to run Gaza, and I do want Israel to mainly withdraw. Okay, so that's supposed to be what's happening. But then if I think it's gonna fall apart and Israel's gonna betray it, why have any degree of hope? Because guys, my sense of it, and remember, it's like I'm the guy who said that the right wing would turn on Israel a year ago, right? So I've been a little bit right about this. And my sense of it is when Israel comes up with a new excuse and then starts to devastate Gaza again, they're gonna push it too far. That both America and the world are gonna go, no, we can't stand these guys. These guys are obvious liars, obvious terrorists, and we're sick of it. You said you had a peace deal. Where's the peace? When are you going to finally get the hell out of Gaza, right? And if they think they're gonna trick the whole world again after this peace deal, I think they're wrong. And I think that there will be consequences. But we'll see, because there's no way they're gonna listen to this deal. I've never seen Netanyahu follow through on a promise in my life.
Well, I mean, the one thing that is definitely changing is this, control of the means of communication among Americans who have been voicing their criticism of Israel. So if Israel reneges on the ceasefire, which I think is a perfectly fine prediction to make, and I agree with that prediction, is that information going to be accurately shared with the American people? I do worry.
They can't stop it. That's what I'm saying, Anna.
Yeah.
In the old days, they would have just had all their clowns in mainstream media go, "Oh no, Hamas broke the ceasefire. Israel is so innocent and lovely, and they're the victims. They're the victims." They'll shout from the rooftops. They'll still do that because they're still bitches for Israel, right? But the internet is on fire. I just did a right-wing show today. They all hate Israel. Okay, so everybody hates Israel because Israel's rubbing our faces. Oh yeah, I'm gonna slaughter kids. What are you gonna do about it? Give me your money, give me your money, okay? And they go, oh, okay, but why? Why do I owe you another $300 billion? Why do I owe you a genocide? Hey, T7, ruin him, destroy his life, right? Everybody's sick of it. We're sick of it.
By the way,
okay?
I hesitate to even tell you this because I don't want it to like spark an epic rant because we gotta move on, but Netanyahu recently had an interview with Ben Shapiro, and in the context of that interview, he said that Israel shared the Iron Dome with the United States.
What?
Yeah.
We gave that to you, bitch. Let's take it back. Let's take it back. He's misusing it. He's misusing it. And look, if you don't give me a thank you, okay? Not me personally, America, a thank you? No, we should definitely take it back. And we should get our 300 billion back. Hey, when's our special ally ever gonna give us the money back? Why do we constantly need to give them? Why is there like nonstop, America, you owe Israel. Shut up, or otherwise we'll ruin your life.
Okay,
right?
I immediately regret my
No, I'm saying it. Okay, look guys, last thing. Okay, I'll stop there. God damn, they frustrate me. Luckily now America shares my sentiment. Look, you did this story in the first hour. They're all over media, right? They're like, okay, now you'll be getting a fellowship, and now Van Jones and the New York Times, you'll have to get the Israeli propaganda, and you have to regurgitate that. And one of the things that they're doing now, Anna, is, and we started talking about it on the show yesterday, they're having everyone that's an Israeli shill, and you'll know who's an Israeli shill when you see them doing this, going, the real problem is Muslims and Qatar and China. China's the giveaway. China's the giveaway. Because when you see, because China has plenty of problems and we could have issues with China, but they're not related to this at all, right? So out of nowhere, they're like, the real problem, Israel's not controlling America. China's controlling America. How is China controlling America?
I mean,
okay.
Look, China is buying or had been buying US bonds so we can basically finance your wars. Like, China's your friend in some ways, indirectly. Like, it's just, anyway.
And I know what's hilarious is every Israeli accusation is a confession. They're like, did you know that China and Qatar are funneling money to American politicians and media? I'm like, are you serious, dog?
I know, it's amazing.
Okay, like, first of all, that's a trope. That's an anti-Chinese trope. That's it, ruin their lives. Okay, dude, we all know you're doing it. You're so stupid now.
I know.
And so I know, because you know what, guys, last thing. Why do they continue to do these things when we can all see it now, right? Like they keep saying they have clothes on and they show up naked, and we're like, we can see it.
We don't
want to see it, right? Because they're in the bubble, the elitist bubble.
True.
They're not seeing the rest of it. So they go to like cocktail parties in DC and stuff, and everybody's still like, oh, Israel's here, and they all get on their knees and they're like, oh, we worship you. Who shall we destroy on your behalf? So they're like, oh, what do you mean? We got this thing on lockdown. Totally. Hey, I got my Republican bitch and I got my Democratic bitch. So everything's good. Good. Stay in Washington. See how it turns out.
Bitches be thirsty. That's what I hear.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.